Today on the Brad Link, we're talking all about how you can budget for alcohol in your bar at your wedding. Today on the Brad Link, we're talking all about how you can budget for your bar. First things first, you need to make sure that your alcohol budget includes things like alcohol, ice, mixers, a bartender, and a tip. So don't just have alcohol only on your list because you're forgetting a lot if you do. You're going to want to talk to your venue before you book and see what their alcohol policy is. Some venues have you use their in-house service for alcohol, which could be a little bit more expensive, paying drink by drink, but also it's a lot less stressful on you. You don't have to worry about providing an alcohol list, hiring a bartender, bringing in ice, none of that. Everything should be in-house and on hand, ready for your wedding. If you're doing it the other way, where you have to hire a bartender and bring your own alcohol in, you're going to need to start creating your alcohol list. Talk to your fiance about what type of alcohol they want to serve. Beer, wine, and champagne is usually standard for an open bar, but sometimes we do have people offer a full bar or signature drinks. If you have the choice, we recommend to do beer, wine, and champagne with 2 signature drinks. That way you don't have to worry about having tons of mixers, a lot of different bottles of liquor, and a lot of stuff that you have to purchase that might not be finished the night of your wedding. So then you also have to bring it home. If you're going to be marrying a beer snob, you need to talk to them about your beer choices as well. It can be a lot more expensive for things like craft beer than regular domestic beer like Bud Light. Also, you need to think about if you're going to be purchasing liquor, if you can afford high-end liquor like Grey Goose vodka, or if you can just get regular old brand of vodka that's a little bit of a mid-shelf or a low-range price. Talk to your fiance and see what's really important to them, but also keep in mind that your budget is important and those things do add up. That's kind of why we recommend 2 signature drinks, because there's only a couple of liquors that you'd have to purchase that way. So the next thing you're going to want to do is hire a bartender. You're going to need at least 1 bartender for every 75 to 100 guests, just to make sure things don't get too crowded at the bar. Really, at about 100 is where I say you need to bring a second bartender in. But if your logistics are complicated, if you have multiple bar setups in different areas, like for example, the cocktail area is in one spot, and then in another location, the reception is taking place with dinner, but the bar still needs to be there as well, you might have to have 2 bartenders on hand just to manage having 2 bar locations. Talk to your bartending company about your logistics when you're getting a quote, so that way they don't underquote you because they didn't have enough information. Next, what you're going to want to do is think about glassware. If you're trying to keep things easy and simple and a little bit less expensive, you can just use disposable glasses. But if you feel like you really want glassware, you're going to either need to talk to your bartending company about if they rent glassware, or talk to an event rental company about renting glassware. You're going to need at least 1 glass per person when you're renting glassware, and that might have a little bit of give depending on if you're serving a lot of different types of beer, wine, and liquor. So not everybody's going to need a rocks glass for liquor if you're also serving wine, because some people will just be wine drinkers. But keep in mind, they will set their glass down, walk away from it, and they need a fresh one. What I usually suggest is just talk to your event rental company or your bartender about the number of guests that you have coming and ask them for their advice on how many glasses you should rent. They're the experts, they do it all the time, and they can give you a really good number. Keep in mind too, disposable glasses are easy and cheap, and that's another option. When you're talking about ice, you're going to need 1.5 pounds of ice per guest for your event. That seems like a lot, but when you put into account that you have to have ice in every single cooler, as well as icing down drinks that are actually going to go in the drinks you serve to your guests, it really makes sense. If you're going to be doing a summer wedding, keep that in mind. 1.5 pounds won't go far because it's going to melt pretty quickly. We usually recommend to stay away from kegs because there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on with kegs as far as you have to rent a tap. I suggest actually having 2 taps because I've had a wedding where the tap broke, and it was a really sad day when that happened, and they didn't have another one on hand. You also have to have a giant bucket to put the keg in, and then in all honesty, as a wedding planner, I hate them because it creates condensation around the keg, which can leak onto the dance floor, and it's just a mess. Getting beer bottles is a lot easier for you to transport onto the wedding the day of. It's also easier for you to take them home. If you get a keg, it's going to be either it's going to be drank in its entirety the night of the wedding, or you're going to have a keg that you have to take home, and it's not necessarily going to be good like a day or two after. If you do bottles, you can save them for when you're back from your honeymoon and you can drink them. So that's 2 reasons why we recommend bottles. You can save them when the wedding's over, and it's just a lot less messy. Plus, you can also have a lot of different varieties. Another important thing to look at is what your state laws are for serving alcohol at a private event. For example, here in the state of Tennessee, it is Tennessee state law that your bar shut down 30 minutes prior to the end of your event. So if your event's over at 10, we're shutting the bar down at 9:30. Sorry, it's state law. We have no other choice. That means we do last call around 9:20. Talking to your state law about what your ABC laws are, it keeps you legal. It also keeps your venue happy, because if you're not following the laws that the venue recognizes as well, then they might shut your bar down. So making sure that you have a licensed and insured bartender is usually going to be crucial for the venue to be allowing you to serve alcohol. So I would go ahead and put that in your budget. Even if your venue doesn't make you get a licensed and insured bartender, know that that bartender is going to do more than just sling alcohol all night. They're going to be watching for people that are overserved, so that can potentially stop a big distraction, a lot of drama, or damage to the venue or your wedding or property when somebody gets really overserved with alcohol. They're also going to be managing the alcohol all night, so they'll be refilling the ice, keeping everything cold, stocking the drinks, serving the drinks, and at the end of the night, they should be cleaning up the bar and packing everything up for you. And then finally, they're going to be bringing a big liability policy, which is one of the main reasons why you want to hire a professional company. That insurance policy can protect you if something happens on site that's related to alcohol, or if there's an accident on the way home also related to alcohol. Finally, you want to make sure everybody has a safe ride home. Even if you don't offer a shuttle service at your wedding, it's not a bad idea to put a taxi number up by the bar or have everybody call an Uber. For more expert wedding planning advice, you can follow us at The Bride Link.